A 1, 2, 3, 4.
Marine Corps.
A 1, 2, 3, 4.
Marine Corps.
Army Navy was not for me.
Marine Corps.
Air Force was just too easy.
Marine Corps.
What I need was a little bit more.
Marine Corps.
I need a life that is hardcore.
Marine Corps.
Paris Island where it all began.
Marine Corps.
I let a rock with
Welcome back, candidates, to another OCS Prep video. My name is Lieutenant Lindsay, and today I will be discussing how to run faster by running less. Today's video will cover 3 variables to improve your running workouts and types of running workouts you can do to improve your running. I plan to do a future video in this series talking about PFT improvement, so make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss out on future content. Now let's get started. When determining the types of running plans or workouts you should be focused on, you should focus on 3 variables: frequency, intensity, and duration. Your frequency is going to align with whatever your goal is. For example, if you are planning on training for a marathon, your frequency and duration should be longer than when you are training for a 5K. Frequency is anywhere from 3 to 14 training exercises per week. If you go on the shorter end, let's say 3 training days or running days, you should incorporate cross training, but we will get into that later in the video. Next, you should focus on intensity. Stop junk miles or plans that just focus on getting miles. Running 3 miles or 5 miles without any planned intensity or duration is useless. You're wasting your time and setting yourself up to get injured. I prefer to use time runs and run at a certain pace for that time interval, but there are many different ways you could go about getting intensity in your workout. Finally, there's duration. Each planned run should have a set duration. What is your goal? How long do you plan to run? You will get nothing out of running 3 miles in 90 minutes. Running 3 miles at your pace is much more beneficial. The goal here is to get efficiency and not waste your time. That is why you must have a desired intensity. It can be hard to push yourself, especially if you hate to run, but it's very important. Do you lift weights, or have you ever lifted weights? If you have, and that's more of your thing than running, you always go into the weight room with a plan. You don't just walk in and grab the heaviest thing and start lifting it. That's counterintuitive. It's going to injure you. It's not efficient. The same thing goes for running. You have to have a plan, and you have to start small and work your way big. Alright, so now it's time to cover the types of runs that you should be doing. If you plan on running 5 times a week, this would be the type of exercise you would follow. You need to have a long run, a tempo run, speed workout, and a recovery run, as well as some sort of cross training that you do maybe once or twice a week. The idea here is that we're trying to diversify your training schedule to develop slow and fast twitch muscles that you can use in your PFT. If you want, go ahead and pause this video and write these things down, or continue watching and I'll go into more depth as we go through the video. So let's focus on the long run. The long run is a moderate race pace, about 1 to 1.5 minutes slower than the race pace that you have. i.e., if you run 20 minutes for 3 miles, which is a 6:40 or so pace per mile, your pace for this run should be 7 to 9 minutes per mile. The long run uses the duration variable and is more about improving endurance than speed or intensity. I said earlier that you shouldn't run long distance for fear of getting into a cadence run. To a degree, this is true, but you need the long run once weekly to improve your ability to last during the PFT. Your long run, since we're training for 3 miles, should be about 4 to 6 miles. The key to the long run is to maintain a steady pace throughout the run. Next, we have the tempo run. The tempo run is a very important workout in the running world. This goal of this run is to be uncomfortable and not to be at full race threshold. Your pace for this run should be about 30 seconds slower than your race pace. The idea here is to mimic your race by getting you close to your race pace but not pushing you past it. This run is both intensity and duration based. So you want to get the intensity in the pace, but we are also aiming for the duration. This run should be timed to last as long as your race does. So if you run a 20-minute 3 mile, this run should be 21:30 or so. Remember, this is only a once every 2 week run. Now, if you're in the Norman OST pool, then you run a PFT once monthly. I recommend that you maybe run this kind of run once monthly. If you're not running a PFT every single month, then you probably should do this every 2 weeks so that you're getting that speed workout kind of in there, and it helps you to develop a faster run over time. But if you're running a PFT every month like we do here in Norman, then just focus on it maybe once and maybe not at all, especially if you're doing a contracting PFT. Next, we got sprints. This is where the speed comes from. All right, sprints are about 30 seconds faster than your race pace. So if you're running a 20-minute 3 mile at 6:40, then you need to do a little math to determine what your sprints are. All right, so what we do is we take about 30 seconds off of that, so we go to a 6:10 pace, and then we divide that by 2 for an 800, and we divide it by 4 for 800 or for 400, excuse me, and that will develop 2 of the kinds of sprinting workouts. The further down you go, the more you divide by, and you simply go off that pace. That way, you're going to develop some nerve passageways and build and teaching synapses to fire more quickly, which develops something we call fast twitch muscles. All right, you're teaching your legs to turn over faster. You want to improve your PFT, you need to incorporate sprinting, quick feet, and ladder drills probably once or twice a week. That way, you get those fast twitch muscles that we need in order to go faster. Finally, everybody's favorite run, the recovery run. This is an easy day in your routine. It's 1 to 2 minutes slower than your race pace, i.e. if you're running 20 minutes for 3 miles at a 6:40 pace, the pace for this run is 7:40 to 9:40 per mile. Other types of training that you can do, but we're not limited to, is biking, walking, stretch PT, HIIT workouts, weights, and swimming. Remember, the goal for the recovery run and cross training is to reduce stress and lactic acid in the muscles. So this is all about reducing the impact of running while also getting cardio in. So these workouts, probably once or twice a week, you should be doing something like this to help minimize impact and prevent things like shin splints or other stress-related injuries. All right, finally, it's really important for me to note that we as officer candidates and officers and Marines are not just training for our PFT or for OCS or TBS. We're training to lead Marines. All right, you have to keep that in mind as you develop and execute training plans. Always remember that you have a starting point and you need to keep developing past that point every day or you will lose. Okay, if you lose, your Marines will lose and America will lose as a result. So you have to stay in shape, you have to take your training seriously, and you have to develop good plans that you can use with your Marines. So take all that in stride. Finally, I just want to say thank you for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe for more content, and if you have questions or comments, put them below. Also, if you'd like to do a fun HIIT workout, this is one that I do at home, and I think it's a lot of fun, and it's a really easy workout to do, especially since we're stuck inside with this quarantine. So go ahead, do something different. It doesn't require really any equipment at all, and you can do and mix up different workouts into it and have a lot of fun with it. So it's one that I like to do, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you for watching.
Ask me why?
Marine Code.
Here's the deal. Here's my reply.
Marine Code.
I'll be a Marine till the day I die.
Marine Code.
Motivated and simplified.
Marine Code.
Once